So, Vinland Saga. Personally, I don't hate this show. I know, I already know the thumbnail gonna make a lot of people mad. I know a lot of people love this freaking franchise, but personally, I like the first season, but I think the fall off came in season 2, personally. If I really had to give this show, my overall thoughts, I love the messaging that it gives off. Of course, love thy neighbor. They even have some Christian themes in there and straight up Christian Bible verses being spoken in the show. So you would think it would just obviously just appeal to me, but it doesn't, right? And the main reason why it doesn't is because, come on, Mappa. If it's going to be by Mappa Studios, bro, it's they just had a bomb first season and then it just fell off in the second quarter. I was just so annoyed by that, bro. It's just the second season is 80% a yap session. They just yapping for 90% of the second season, and it's just it's so boring, bro. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. It's so boring. I get it, you know what I'm saying? Oh, no one deserves to be hurt, and I get that. I empathize with that, and I love the messaging for that, but this is also an action anime. I'm not gonna hold you, where the action at? And then he becomes a slave in the second half, and I'm bro, I get it, don't get me wrong, I understand, but I don't care for this. Really, I don't. I just want to see people fight, especially Thorfinn, the main character. I want to see him go crazy, but I don't get to see him go crazy for some reason. It's just so weird to me how I don't get to see that. It's just watered down Thorfinn for the remainder of the series, and I gotta say, I'm not particularly a fan of it. I did not enjoy it by any means. I'm just bro, I'm just waiting for him to freaking fight anything again. So when he went hand to hand with, the slave master's personal trainer, I guess I can call him that. It's just bro, it was the only bit of action, but I didn't enjoy it. It was a lot more analytical, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand, bro. It's just how is it that Thorfinn doesn't get rusty through all the years and time skips he's not fighting or honing his skills? It'd be one thing if it was a yap session of a season and you still see Thorfinn training, taking advantage of the fact that Mappa is in charge of it. You see him sparring in the background, maybe see him punching a few trees, kicking the air a little bit. Give me something, bro. Show me his abilities are still intact, right? Don't just let me supposed to be able to buy the fact that he's just been, honing his skills through mental image training, even though we didn't see that either. I don't know. Like I said, this season was just a fall off for me, bro. Especially because the second season was more high octane action. It was more viscera on the screen, so it was really appeasing that warmonger deep inside of me, So this comment was actually from one of my recent videos. It says, I was a fan of Beerus in the God of Destruction movie, but ever since the show was introduced, it took a literal nosedive and he just became a literal goofball, especially with the introduction to Zeno, basically. And honestly, I agree with that personally. It's with the introduction of Zeno, and even before then, Beerus was just turned into a giant gag character from what he once was. It just it lost a lot of the intimidation factor for me. But that's just me though. Back to the main video. But the second season was just giving very little to be desired, if anything at all. Again, 80% to 90% of the second season is straight yapping. Literally just straight yapping. So I'm how am I supposed to enjoy this, bro? Come on, be for real, bro.
Hey, man, shut your violent ass up. I know you're just some kind of warmonger that just like to see folks fight around, huh? Oh, lame ass. You was not like that. You was not him. I'm so tired of hating that niggas.
I already know people always saying I'm hating, but it's bro, say what you want, bro. I love the messaging, love thy neighbor. I have no enemies. I get it. But at the end of the day, you could have, and even then, right? Because Thorfinn himself was struggling with his own freaking philosophy. And I like a character who isn't just perfect. I like a character who slips up on his ideals because it shows the reality of, taking that type of sacrifice. I get that. And I think that was cool the way they conveyed it. It's very realistic. But again, I feel Thorfinn just was failing to get the point that, yes, you can fight for a good cause. I think that's my problem when it comes to these type of messaging. It's they keep forgetting the fact that it's I'm supposed to buy the fact that you're going to be making this great nation of pacifists, and that's all really good, but how are you going to protect the people? And his friend who's been around him a lot of his journey was basically saying the same thing, and he had basically no answer for that, because of course you don't. You can't defend people and not fight. There has to be some version of violence in that. It has to be. Because even your father defended you. He still hurt people, but he didn't off them. Like, at the end of the day, Batman doesn't off his villains, but he still gives them a nice beating when necessary. At the end of the day, because that's always going to be necessary in any type of peacekeeping force. It has to be. But he didn't get that, and that's what was irritating me for a lot of the time. But hey, man, at the end of the day, I know a lot of people going to be like, oh, the message went over your head, but, you know. I love the show. It's great in the first season, but at the end of the day, hella falling off. Hella yapping for the second season. I just wasn't riding with it. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know your other thing, comments below. Peace.